My name is Dukowski. I'm currently in the 10th grade, and I attend Da Vinci Design High School. And I will be presenting both my English and my history POLs, and I'm beginning with my English POL. This is my character analysis. I chose to analyze Guy Montag in the book Fahrenheit 451, and he's an impulsive character that reveals his impulsive nature through his actions, and they have more and more consequences as the story progresses. The first evidence is an excerpt from the book, from the first part. There had been a time 2 years ago when he had bet with the best of them and lost a week's salary and faced Mildred's insane anger, which showed itself in veins and blotches. This excerpt gives the reader information on Montag's past, and while it doesn't seem like much information at first glance, it does tell you that he has a history of making rash decisions without thinking too hard about the consequences of them. The second excerpt, I tried to take an excerpt from each different chapter. So this is from the second chapter. But Montag was gone and back in a moment with the book in his hand. Guy, damn it all, damn it. What you've got there, isn't that a book? I thought all the special training these days was done by film. Mrs. Phelps blinked. Are you reading up on fireman theory? Theory? Hell, said Montag. It's poetry. This excerpt shows some of the increasing risks he's taking with his impulses. They give him a very perfect opportunity that even if he has an impulse of, I'm going to show them all this book, they do give him a chance to say, oh, I'm just reading up on fireman theory, don't worry about it. But because he's so impulsive and he doesn't think about the risk of it all, he continues saying, it's like, no, it's poetry, and he's going to continue talking about it. And actually telling the women about this kind of directly leads to the next actions of him being found out that he has all of these books. The fact that he told Mildred and these women leaded them to reporting him that he had books, which pretty much could have been avoided if he didn't tell them. So he'd probably be found out eventually. My third evidence, this quote, "We never burn right. Hand it over, Guy," said Beatty with a fixed smile. And then, he was a shrieking blaze, a jumping, sprawling, gibbering mannequin, no longer human or no, all writhing flame on the lawn as Montag shot one continuous pulse of liquid fire on him. This excerpt shows one of the most extreme areas of his impulse, where, well, granted he didn't have much time to think, he chose, yeah, this is a good decision, I'm gonna kill him, which I think could have been avoided. I'm never okay with murder. It could have been avoided, and even Montag later regrets his actions while he's being chased by a hound through the city. Oh. Any questions? I don't have any more slides. I did another title card because I do that. This is my world history POL, and it says the exact same thing on the bottom as my presentation for English. So I'm presenting on Essential Hill 4, which is imperialism, and the thesis statement I came up with, because I didn't entirely know everything that I was supposed to do. This is my first POL. Though most of Europe participated in imperialism, Britain was one of the most aggressive and capable countries at the time because of their head start in industrialization and their strong sense of national superiority. My first evidence of this is this quote that I got from a DBQ that is I contend that we've written the finest race in the world. And the more of the world we inhabit, the better it is for the human race. It is our duty to seize every opportunity of acquiring more territory, and we should keep this one idea steady before our eyes, that more territory simply means more of the white race, more of the best, the most human, the most honorable race the world possesses. This shows their feeling of superiority. It's like, we're better than you, and we should take your land because it's pity on you. You just need us to be here because we're the best, in a sense. They're seeing it as taking pity on the nations, or that it was a duty of them. They needed to. It was what they were meant to do. And that kind of led to all of them, Britain conquering many parts of the world, without the thought of what the people who lived there thought about it. Because they lived there a lot longer than they did. This is an image that I got from an opening, because I thought it would be useful for it. And it shows how the Industrial Revolution helped with their head start in the Industrial Revolution helped when they were imperializing, I always mix up those two words, the rest of the world. So this is a picture of them fighting the Zulu tribe. And as you can see, they're fighting, the Zulu tribe was fighting mostly with spears and shields that were probably meant to stop spears, not bullets. Bullets were probably going to go right through them. And because they had these guns, they had superior weapons from the Industrial Revolution, it was a lot easier for them to take over land. It just wasn't that hard when you're fighting against spears and wooden shields. And there his evidence is a picture that we've covered a lot in class. And it shows an outside perspective of what England is kind of doing, or Britain is doing to the world. It's kind of aggressively grabbing at everything, not really putting into consideration what they're grabbing at or who. They just want land everywhere because power. They want power. And it's also drawn as a fat, rich, greedy looking guy. And it kind of, his face kind of looks conniving and evil. And it shows that he's only really caring about himself and not the countries he's aggressively taking. Thank you for your time. Any questions? All right.
Press yes or switch.
Okay. So this is my geometry. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not that good at these. So I made apple a noun because it's the company and not the fruit. And gave is a verb because they gave it to us. Us is a pronoun. I kind of went for it on that one. A is an adjective, I think. Computer's a noun. Anyone, I took a guess on that one a little bit, I'm going to be honest. I forgot what can is. Use is a verb.
Alright, stop right there. Let's hold on. Let's figure this part out. So, you said Apple gave us a computer anyone can use.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone. Tell the reader what? Or what is anyone?
Anyone is, I'm trying to explain this as best I can, but any person.
Person.
Yeah.
And what part of speech describes or talks about persons?
Noun?
Nouns. So it's a noun.
Okay.
So we said in order to have an independent clause, you need to have what two phrases?
You need to have a verb phrase and a noun phrase.
Verb phrase and a noun phrase. So since Apple gave us a computer anyone can use, so it can't just be any kind of noun phrase, it should be the noun phrase that attaches to the verb phrase. So, who gave us a computer anyone can use?
Apple.
Apple. So Apple is our noun phrase, because that's our subject. Okay? And what did Apple give us?
A computer.
So give us a computer is the verb phrase. And then another verb phrase and incomplete sentence. Alright, so Apple gave us a computer anyone could use. Could it be in the sentence right there?
Yes.
Sure could. So just above that comma, put a period.
Alright.
Alright? It is very expensive. What's very expensive?
The computer.
So it references the computer, which makes it a noun phrase. What information is that sentence providing?
That the computer is expensive.
No, it's very expensive. So you have a noun phrase and a verb phrase right there too.
Okay.
Because what's the verb phrase? What do you have in the verb?
Oh, is.
Is very expensive. You have a verb phrase.
Okay.
So you have a noun phrase and a verb phrase.
Oh, so it's a independent clause.
Independent clause. And see the little mark that I have to make the comma and the period on top. We call that a what?
That's a semicolon.
It's a semicolon because semicolons separate what two clauses?
Independent.
Independent clauses. On your DBQ.
Alright. We just erase everything. Okay, so my DBQ I got was, what did this speech reveal about society's treatment of African Americans in 1819? I'm not good at dates and years and stuff, so I kind of just assumed from the quote that there was some level of freedom involved. So the quote above reveals that society in 1819 viewed African Americans as less than white men. According to the above quote, I still don't know how to pronounce that word that well. Drudgery and servitude then are my prospective paths.
Wait, hold on. Okay. How do you think that fully supports your thesis?
I feel like I could probably add more of that quote.
Yeah. Okay, because
I probably
word that you didn't know how to pronounce drudgery, do you know what that means?
yeah. Labor.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to do that a little bit more
Alright.
and make the argument stronger. So can you go ahead and identify for me what you could use to support your thesis?
It's so hard to underline things when I block it with my shadow.
Okay, since it's hard for me to see, can you go ahead and read that?
Yeah. Shall I be a merchant? No. One will have me in his office. White clerks won't associate with me. Drudgery and servitude, then, are my prospective potential paths.
Okay.
And then I could probably add the last one if I wanted to.
Okay, so let's look at how you introduced your quote. You said according to
The above quote.
okay, is that vague or specific?
That's kind of vague. I just didn't know the name, so I didn't know where to go.
Okay,
American, but it says it's come from the History of New York African Preschools.
Okay, so what do we know about the author? He's what?
Young African American.
Okay, do you think that's important to include when introducing the book?
Probably.
Why?
Because if he wasn't an African American, a lot of these, it wouldn't really make sense. It's about the different treatments that African Americans face in society at that time. And if he wasn't African American, it would be a little weird.
Okay, it would be a little weird and probably not very credible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and take me to your analysis.
In conclusion, though African Americans had gained freedom, they were still treated as they could be nothing more than slaves.
Okay, thank you, Lola.
Thank you for your time.
I'm sure you can stop on the video.
Oh yeah, video. That's a thing.